Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I'm excited to share with you some cards I've made using the new 2023-2025 Stampin' Up! In Colors as part of the Global Stampin' Video Hop this month. This month we are sharing projects that use these beautiful new in colors. So make sure to keep hopping around to see all of the ideas by clicking on the link to the next video in the description below. The in colors this year are Pebbled Path, Copper Clay, Moody Mauve, Boho Blue, and Wild Wheat. They are beautiful earth tones and are perfectly on trend. I am seeing these colors everywhere right now, from fashion to home decor. However, when I see these colors, I think of autumn and fall projects, not spring and summer. So today I wanted to get outside my comfort zone and share with you 5 color combinations that include each of the new in colors that work perfectly for spring and summer projects. First, I'm going to share with you how to create this quick and simple card layout with a couple crafting hacks to make it even easier. Then I will show you each color combination and the colors that I used. I know you're going to love them all. If you are new to my channel and would like to subscribe to see more of my videos, please click on the link in the bottom right corner. So the patterns that I'm using for my cards come from the Designer Series paper assortment packs that come in all of the color families. So you can get these in the Stampin' Up! Brights, Subtles, Regals, and Neutral families, as well as both of the in color. And so I am using the 2023-2025 in color pack. And it comes with these 2 different styles of patterns. This one is like a short line stroke, and then on the back it has hearts. And then the other pattern are dots, and then a diagonal stripe. So I really liked how these 2 patterns go together. And so these are the ones that I'm using on my cards. And I'm going to be creating the Pebbled Path card with you. So this pattern I am using on the bottom of my card. And I'm going to cut this to 2.5 inches. And then to 5.25 inches. And then I'm going to use the polka dots on top, and I'm cutting this to 1.5 inches by 5.25 inches. For this card, I wanted to use some really bright colors to pull in some fun summertime feels. This one is called Berry Burst, and it's a new color as part of the color refresh that Stampin' Up! Has done. And the same is with this one. Actually, this one is from last year's in color. It's called Parakeet Party. Another fun element that I'm adding to my cards is a little touch of each of those colors between the papers. And I have this scalloped edge and then a straight edge. Here's hack number 1. I cut my papers so that they fit perfectly on my card. So 1.5 plus 2.5 equals 4. And so there's not going to be any overlap. And hack number 1 is you can create overlap with these strips. So to create that scallop, I am using this die here. This is just a scallop edge die, and it comes from the Zany Zoo dies. And these are just super cute dies. They coordinate really nicely with the stamp set and the Designer Series paper that is part of that suite. But it has this really fun scalloped edge. So I'm going to do the scallop. Let's do it in the Parakeet Party color. So all I'm going to do is just place it near the edge on one side and then cut it through. But you'll see here that it doesn't go all the way across my card. So I'm going to share with you another little hack here so that you can get a full strip. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the mini size. I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down. It doesn't have to be totally straight. but if you're worried about it moving, you can use a little bit of washi tape just to hold it in place. Okay. Now, sometimes it's the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the mini size, has a little bit of a hard time rolling all of the plates in. So I'm going to give you just a quick little tip. The first tip is to actually stagger the plates. So you want to stagger them like steps so that the top plate goes in first. And then my other tip is to use plate number 4, which is the darkest gray, on the top instead of a clear plate. And it just rolls in really smoothly. Okay, so here is our little die cutting hack. So to extend this, all you need to do is place it back on your Stampin' Cut and Emboss plates, and then line it up with the existing, line the die back up with part of the existing cut, and then of course use your washi tape to hold it in place, and then you're just going to cut again. And you know that it's going to be a nice perfect continuation because you've lined it up with the existing cut. And it's going to look like that. So you could really make this however long you need. And we're just needing a strip that is about 5 1/4 inches. So let's continue putting this together. So I'm going to take some adhesive and add it to the top of that scallop piece, and then take another strip of the coordinating color, and I'm just going to add it right above that scallop. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the adhesive again and add this to the top. And I just want a little bit of that color peeking through. So maybe about 1/8 of an inch or something like that. Now we've created that overhang, which will be perfect for when we add these 2 pieces to our card base. Let's go ahead and do that now. So I just have my card base of pebbled path, and I've scored it in half, and just use my bone folder. I'm going to begin by adding the bottom piece first so that I can overlap the top piece. And you'll just place it on so that there's a little bit of border all the way around. Make sure it's nice and even. And then take the top piece and add your adhesive. And it's nice to have that overhang because now you're not worried if there's a slight gap between your 2 DSP pieces. And just about look for the same amount of distance all the way around your card base. So it's going to look something like this. I love this layout, and it really could be used with so many different patterns of paper. So let's go ahead and move into our stamping. So for the card, I wanted to use this really fun stamp that is from the Good Feeling stamp set. It says, "I'm just so happy for you." And I wanted to emboss it in some white embossing powder. So I'm going to use some Versamark ink. And before I do that, I need to add some Embossing Buddy to my cardstock. And this just keeps the powder from sticking to places that I don't want it to stick to. So go ahead and ink up your stamp in Versamark. Versamark is a sticky ink, so it's perfect for heat embossing because it will hold on to that powder. So you can see that image just slightly on your cardstock. Then you take your white embossing powder and just apply it over the ink and tap off your excess. And then we're going to heat this up with our heat tool. So I just love how heat embossing looks. So you know it's all done when it gets nice and shiny. And you may have noticed that I like to emboss from underneath my cardstock. And I do this for two reasons. One, because I think it gives it a nice smooth finish. And two, it keeps it from overheating, which can create an uneven look. So once your embossing has cooled, I wanted to add just a little bit of color behind the greeting, just in the center. So I took each of the coordinating in colors. So this is the Pebbled Path ink pad with a blending brush. And make sure to tap off a little bit once you add your ink so that you don't get any harsh lines. And then you just add your color right to the center and around your stamped image. And this is just going to give it a nice dark color behind. Just helps really make it pop. Sometimes you'll have some ink that is on top of the embossing powder or the embossing image. So you can just take a tissue or something and just rub off the excess ink so that your image is nice and bright. Then you're going to cut it out, and I'm using one of these decorative dies. They're the Countryside Corner dies, and it comes in a variety of sizes, and I'm just using the middle size that works well with my greeting. If you're using a different greeting or you know, kind of trying to use up the products that you have, then you can use any shape here. This is just what I have. So I'm going to apply a little bit of washi tape to hold it in place. And then I'm going to run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And again, I'm going to use the mini size here. So cute. So now we are ready to add some coordinating stamps. And I wanted to use the flowers from the Petal Park stamp set. It coordinates also with a punch. And I'm just going to do these flowers here and then this single leaf. So I'm going to use Berry Burst and Parakeet Party since those coordinate with the colors that I'm using on my card. And I'm going to give you another fun hack here. I've got a couple actually. So with this Petal Park stamp set, they come as a grouping, and it's really nice because it coordinates with the location on the punch. So you definitely want to keep the lined flowers together. So you can see here that we have the line outline and then we have the inside. So I've kept those together, and I'm just going to go ahead and ink those up and stamp these ones first. And I'm going to stamp them at the bottom of this basic white cardstock piece here. However, the inside pieces, I have a hard time lining up all three at the same time. So I cut them up and separated them so that it's a little easier for me to line up each one separately. So I'm going to use the same color, but to get a lighter color, I'm going to stamp off. And then line up and stamp down. And you can see that you get this really beautiful image. So I'm going to repeat that with the medium flower. And those little cut lines kind of show me where to direct the stamp so that I know exactly where to line it up. It makes it really easy. And then I've got my little flower here. So that was the first hack, is to, if you feel comfortable, you can cut up your stamps. And sometimes that makes it easier. But just keep in mind that if you have a coordinating die or punch, that if you cut them up, they may not fit. So this one's nice because I kept one the same and then I cut up the other one. Hack number 2 is to actually stamp the outside line first, because most of the time we want that line to be darker than the inside color, so we can see through our stamp to line everything up. So that was hack number 2 on how to stamp this. And then hack number 3 is to use the same color of ink, but then to do a stamp off so that you get these really beautiful monochromatic flowers. And then let's go ahead and punch this out. And then we can use the rest of this for our leaf. And the leaf, actually, I'm going to use a small strip because the leaf is at the bottom of my punch, and then I'm not wasting all that cardstock. So when you do try to coordinate with your punch, you want to make sure that you are stamping kind of in the same direction as you will be punching. So I flip my punch over and I just look at it. So it's kind of has this angle, and that's the angle that I want to stamp my leaf. So I've got my outside leaf here on one side and then the inside leaf on the other side. And I just wanted to kind of do a slight angle. And I'm going to do the same technique where I stamp the outside line first in full strength, and then I'm going to do the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the outside so that I can see through and stamp off, and then I can stamp over. And it just makes it so much easier to line up for me when I stamp the outside line first and then do the inside. Okay, and then this will just be really easy to cut out. And I'm just going to go ahead and punch all 5 of those leaves. Okay, so now I'm done stamping and punching, and I've added dimensionals to all of my images. And I'm just going to go ahead and add these to my card. And I'm going to place the label so that the lines, these colorful lines, are about center on the label. And place it a little bit off to the left of center. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my flowers. So I've got a large one here in the top right, and maybe add a leaf underneath it. And then I'll add my little flower on top, just like that. So kind of tuck some things under and some things over. Let's go ahead and add 2 more leaves. Maybe something like that. And then I like this middle flower here near the bottom on the left. And I'm going to place my leaves in this corner here. Just like that. So really quick and simple card. And then just add a little bit of bling. I'm going to use these iridescent rhinestones right in the center of the flower. And I'm just going to coordinate the sizes. So I've got the large, the medium, and then the small rhinestones in there, those same flowers. And that card is all done. So now I'm excited to share with you the color combinations that I've used on my cards to really pull our new ink colors into the spring and summer feelings. So this is the Boho Blue in color, and I've used Melon Mambo and Lemon Lime Twist. So again, I'm using a really bright pink with a really bright green. So this is the Wild Wheat in color, and I did struggle a little bit with this color. It's got some green undertones, and so I decided to pull out a green that's a little bit darker. So this is the Granny Apple Green, and then I wanted to stay within a color family that was close to the yellows and greens, and so I decided to pull in a bright blue, and I used Tahitian Tide. And I think those 3 colors go really well together, and do give that summer feeling. Our next in color is Copper Clay. And for this color, I wanted to use some yellows. And so the yellows here that I'm using is Lemon Lolly. I did stamp the outside with Daffodil Delight just to make it a little bit darker, but our main color here is Lemon Lolly, and that's the same color that I used for the cardstock. And then I did go with a darker green, and I've got Old Olive. And I think this card really encapsulates some really fun colors of summer. Then we kind of go back to springtime with this Moody Mauve card. And for this one, I wanted to pull in some very light colors. And so I've got a soft sea foam for our green and petal pink for our flowers. I did double stamp the outside line, and I had to use my Stamparatus, which is not available anymore, but if you have it, then you should know how to use it. But I just inked and stamped the outside twice just to make it a little darker. And then I did do a stamp off, stamp on for the inside as well, just to lighten it up just a little bit. So I really love how that card came together. And then of course the card we made together, which is Pebbled Path, and I used the Berry Burst. I wanted a color that was a little bit more purple, and then that beautiful bright Parakeet Party Green. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create this fun card today and see all of the color combinations that I created with the 2023-2025 in colors. If you would like to see a list of the color combinations or close-up images on how I created these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.